welcome to session 4. Today we are cooking
Berry veggie curry.
yum.
Great way to clean out the vegetable bin at the end of the week before you go shopping.
And today I'm also going to be dropping in some helpful tips on healthy bowels and healthy brain. So, shall we jump in?
So today we're going to be doing it in the slow cooker, which is great because you just set it on and leave it and then come back to an absolutely yummy dish that you've made. Start with the heavy duty veggies that are going to take a little bit longer to cook, like first of all the onion. Always cut off a flat section at the end because it's best to work knife safety
Yes.
with that on a flat surface.
Now, Joe, you taught me a new technique on cutting the old onion.
Yeah, well, what I do is I usually, whoops, it's a different knife than I usually use, cut it into slices and leave the root end on. And if the root end is on, it doesn't make you cry. So that's a great way, because that's one reason a lot of people worry about using onions, because they do make you cry. Yeah.
All right, I certainly end up in a bowl full of tears.
There's other ways as well, but this is the least complicated way. So then you just peel your skin off like yay. You've got it sliced, and then you just slice it the other way, and it makes it into nice little cubes ready to go into the pot.
Lovely. What other ingredients do we have there, Joe?
Now we also have, perhaps we'll do the sweet potato next,
Fabulous.
because that is also a little bit more dense and takes a bit longer to cook. Remember, there is so much goodness in the skin of these veggies. There's no need to peel a sweet potato or even a carrot, but it really is where so much of the nutritional benefits come from.
My goodness, it seems like we've been having some conversations, me and Joe. Right on board, keeping up with the good nutrition. So whilst Joe's doing a bit of shopping, I guess I'll start talking a little bit more about our healthy bowels and I guess why we've chosen our lovely veggie curry. So all these good vegetables, and Joe's going to go through as we go, all these beautiful vegetables are high in fibre, which we know keeps us nice and regular, right? But we got different types of fibre as well. So we've got a lovely insoluble fibre, or what I like to think about the roughage, hey Joe?
Woohoo, the vacuum cleaner for the insides.
Exactly. So it goes through the bowels, keeps everything nice and clean. I like to think a bit like a scarra that you'd use for cleaning up your dishes at the end. The second type is our soluble fibre. Now, I like to think of this one a bit more like the gel, or it absorbs the water and keeps everything nice and soft. Okay, so the two of these, I mean, we've got our lovely sweet potato here, Joe. We've got our skin that's got that lovely insoluble fibre, and we've got the insides that's got some more soluble fibre. So it's a double whammy, really, which is excellent. So, oh, look at that. We've got a nice
It's a hard one.
surface.
There we go.
What do you want a nice flat surface there, Joe? Yeah. How good is that?
I just love sweet potato. I think it's one of nature's best kept secrets.
Yeah. Wonderful, lovely carbohydrate as well. So
Beautiful colour, and just adds a little touch of sweetness, which is really lovely.
yeah,
Okay,
good one.
just a little bit more,
Yep, that would be perfect.
and then we'll go on to our cauliflower.
Yes.
Cauliflowers are coming down in price, which is good to see. It's a
Yeah.
good time to be able to use them
Yeah.
in lots of ways, and they're lovely in the soup.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're another wonderful vegetable that's got our fibre as well, which is really, really important. Another, I guess, part to this is, as Joe said at the beginning, it's a lovely way to clean up the fridge. And I think with that, trying different things, because our gut really enjoys variety. And in particular, variety across our plant-based foods, like our vegetables, like our whole grains, all of those really yummy things, hey?
Absolutely.
What do you reckon, Joe?
Yeah, there's nothing better than a bowl of soup
Yeah.
in the wintertime.
In the
It just
wintertime.
warms you up.
Yeah,
totally.
it warms you from the inside out, right?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Internal heating.
Internal heating. And whilst we're heating the insides, I guess we're thinking about, again, those gut health. So the other part of our gut health is our pre and our probiotics. So we have often heard of just our probiotics. You've heard of probiotics before, Jo?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've got your capsicum now. Off to the
Yeah,
next colour.
Yeah, gorgeous colour.
Gorgeous colour. So our probiotics and our prebiotics. So prebiotics, often not as much talked about, but our probiotics often are. So we've actually got our lovely yogurt here for what we're going to serve with at the end. So we will come back to that one later, but we do actually have our probiotic for this recipe as well, which I think is a lovely little element. So our probiotics are very much around the bacteria itself. So we think about those gut bugs or the gut bacteria. When we're eating probiotic foods, they're the foods that have our bacteria in them. So that's pretty cool, right?
Absolutely.
Pretty cool that we've got foods that have good bacteria in them. The other side of that is really the prebiotics. Now, as it sort of says, it's before the bugs, right? Before the bugs. So I like to think of our prebiotics as all those good things that feed the bugs in our belly. Yeah? What do you think of? What sorts of foods do you reckon the bugs would like?
They probably like all the naughty things.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I reckon what we've got on the chopping board right now. What we've got on the chopping board is what the bugs in our gut really enjoy.
Oh, so they're going to eat it all up?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
So often a lot of our fibre sort of foods, so chucking that one again on the flat surface there, Jo, to keep those hands nice and safe.
Yes, Bonnie.
Yep. Making sure that we're having these fibrous foods also means we're getting the prebiotics or the food for the bacteria. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. All right, what have we got now? So we've got
We're doing a zucchini.
zucchini.
So many wonderful things you can do with zucchinis.
Yeah. What other things have you done with zucchini?
Oh, you can make fritters, you can zucchini bake. Who didn't make zucchini bake for their kids when they were growing up?
You need a bit more space there, Jo. You're running out of
No,
space.
I'll be right. We'll just put these into the pot in a minute, and then we won't be panicking
all
anymore.
the beautiful vegetables we've got going. We've got a full thing. I'll get this one ready for you, Jo.
Thank you.
That one's all ready to go when you're ready.
That's the cutest little slow cooker, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
lovely.
My wonderful parents gifted me the slow cooker, so we've got to use it, right?
Now, when I do a veggie curry, I generally start off with some kaffir lime leaves. If you haven't heard of these before, they just give a real beautiful, they're not hot, they're just a really beautiful, pungent.
And they smell wonderful.
yeah.
I had a good smell of them
Good
this morning.
sniff. And you can find them in Coles in that little section where they do the, and I know Coles have got them, they didn't yesterday.
Really?
No.
Well, lucky you had some in the
I
gut.
didn't actually. I had to send my partner
Oh.
out for them, and he came home with the right thing, which was a miracle. Yeah. So obviously the little Asian shops and things like that have often got them in their freezer section. And then if you buy them frozen, you just keep them in your own freezer.
I didn't know that. I think that's a wonderful idea, freezing the different bits and pieces and different elements to keep them fresh, but also have them available to you all the time, all year round, when they're not in season, when they're not in the shops, because we can't always rely on the shops having everything, can we?
I used to have a kaffir lime tree, and I really regret leaving it behind at my last house before we downsized into the village.
One of your plant babies.
Yeah, I hope the people that bought the house appreciate it, because I used to use it a lot. Yeah, so so they're all going into the pot now. And another thing that's really good is to have as staples in your pantry is something like chickpeas, tin chickpeas, or lentils, or even 3-bean mix. Any of those legumes, I got the word right, for the that you have already, and they're just there for when you need to bulk up something. Would you mind pouring the liquid off that, Bonnie? Thank you.
Another fun fact for our old chickpeas, they're a really good prebiotic food. So again, the food that feeds our gut bacteria, a really good one, and an easy one. Stays in the pantry. It stays there for a rainy day when you got all these leftovers and you want to use them in your cupboard, right? A really good prebiotic food.
Absolutely.
I'll drain those ones for you, Jo.
Thank you, my dear. Now, you can also obviously go to your freezer, and I think frozen veggies have become very much the thing nowadays, because veggies in the green section of the supermarket, the fresh, have become quite expensive. So if you can grab them out of the freezer either peas or corn, or even some mixed veggies. That's a great way for a pantry staple as well.
All right, Joe, do you want these ones straight in there as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool, I'll put them in for you.
And we better.
Give them a stir as well.
Now, I'm not a purist about using homemade curry pastes. I tend to use just a curry paste from the supermarket.
The powder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and in this case, this is quite a pot full of food, so probably...
Give them a little stir for us, eh?
if you don't mind, a couple of tablespoons, which I'm making a bit of a mess here.
Oh, it's fun of cooking,
mind,
right?
Never mind, as long as I don't have to clean up.
I think you might.
Yeah, so the chickpeas are in there.
But we also did try, when we were talking about all of our recipes that we wanted to try, we also did use a couple pastes. And like, I mean, I think in terms of nutrition, yes, some of the pastes do have more sugar, but I mean, keeping it interesting for ourselves too, right? And also the different powders, there's different, you were saying yesterday, some of them have a lot of heat. Yeah. So we need to be a little bit careful and maybe just play around with a few until you find one you like.
Yeah, I think this one's not too bad, the Clive one. I think the other one in the square, the Keen's, I think that can be very hot. So if you, by any chance it is a bit hot, that's why it's a good idea to add some yogurt at the end, because that will help put out the fire.
Fabulous.
Okay.
All right, what have we got left?
We'll put a bit of salt in.
A little bit of salt. All right.
And some pepper.
Pepper. Fantastic. Look at this mix. Looks wonderful.
The
nice
colour
and colourful.
is just gorgeous, isn't it? Hey?
So we're nailing having lots of variety, because, like I say, variety is really key. The more variety in the food for the bacteria in the belly, the more bacteria and the more diversity. And our diversity really is where it's at when it comes to our gut health. Yeah, that's really what we're aiming for.
We don't need that one anymore.
Yeah. Shall I get a bit of water for the mix in that one there?
I can probably do that.
Put him in there.
And this is stock. So this is chicken stock, isn't it?
It's just a vegetable stock today.
Veggie stock is good.
We've just used this one here.
Yeah.
I would usually go for a lower salt one, but today we've just got the normal one. So whatever one you can find is definitely preferable.
So actually, if you're using crushed tomatoes, that's a good measure. That tin with stock is just about right for the amount of liquid we need at this stage. Later on, we will add some coconut milk. It's creamy and delicious and just a little bit decadent, I always feel. Coconut milk.
It's looking wonderful.
That'll go in a little bit later. So that's ready to go on the slow cooker heat now.
Might just put a little bit more water. I reckon we're looking a little bit dry.
Do you think?
I reckon.
I think some liquid probably will come out of the veggies, but better be sure than sorry.
A little bit of that. So when we come to actually putting it on, how long do we need there, Joe?
Well, I think today, I mean, if I was at home, I'd put that on in the morning and leave it on low until I'd done what I was doing in the day, and maybe have that, 5, 6 o'clock at night, but on low. But today, do you think we should do it on?
I think we say about, 6 to 8 hours, depending on the one. Yeah. But I guess another thing to play around with. So if you're not used to using a slow cooker, just make sure you check it here and there. Have a day where you are at home so you can check it a few times.
Yeah. So because we're doing this all in one shot today, we'll probably put it on high for a couple of hours.
We'll come back to it later.
And come back to it.
Yeah. So
fantastic.
Joey mentioned we've got our coconut milk that we're going to be putting on a bit later, making sure that it doesn't go a bit yucky. I think it curdles if it goes in there.
Well, I just think that it loses a bit of its
lovely creamy
niceness. Yeah.
We've also got our yogurt. We've also got some lovely herbs from your herb garden.
Isn't that just wonderful when you can pick herbs from your garden? And we're just really lucky. In the village that I am, we've just got some new raised garden beds. Some of those herbs are from my garden, the parsley and the dill, but the coriander has gone mad in our group garden. So I actually have a love affair with coriander. I absolutely love it. But if you're not a lover of coriander, then just use parsley.
Parsley?
Yeah, or in the summer months, basil. Yeah, so
fabulous.
Whatever herbs,
Mix it up, keep it
absolutely.
interesting. Yeah, we've also opted to go with another long grain, so another high fibre option, which is our basmati rice. And we're using our microwavable ones today, because I guess if you are cooking for one, we're thinking that maybe our curry is going to be frozen, we're going to freeze some portions of it, or we just want the meal for the tonight. So we have our small one to two portions. If you are cooking for two, that can also be changed, and you can also obviously do it from scratch as well. But to save a pan as well, chuck these in the microwave, much easier. But we'll come back to that when we get to there.
Okay, thanks, Bonnie. I actually hadn't seen those ones before. I buy the little pouches, and I think they're absolutely fantastic too. And you can get there's one that's got it's a coconut flavoured one, and that tastes absolutely beautiful with the with anything of a curry nature that you're doing.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
So there, it's ready to rock and roll now, Bonnie.
Put that one on, and we'll put him on the heat.
Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent. So our beautiful curry is done. Look at this.
Look at the colours.
It looks wonderful there, Jo. I'm so happy. And I think our rice is also done.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Grab
the
our
rice is in the microwave.
So I'm going to serve him up. So it looks so good. It's nice and creamy. Do you want to put that in there, Jo?
How cute are these little pots of rice that you can do for an individual serve?
Yeah.
How cute they are.
They're wonderful, hey? I mean, you can mix them up as well. There's also the ones with quinoa as well in them. I think they're pretty nice, but ultimately we're looking for a whole grain. So put that one in there. Perfect. All right, let's get some of our curry. Bring that one there.
No.
Ooh.
I think our coriander went in with it, didn't it?
It
caught the ladle. Oh, smells wonderful.
Smells wonderful. All right, so what have we got to make that look pretty at the end there?
Should we put a bit of fresh coriander
Coriander,
on it?
yep,
Yeah.
I can get the coriander. What about that yogurt there? Shall we put
a little bit of yogurt.
some yogurt as
and
well?
if you do have just a little bit too much curry powder, the yogurt will always put out the heat. It's fantastic. A spoonful of yogurt takes away the burny heat. Okay, so there.
Right,
How pretty.
How wonderful is that?
It does
I
look
love
good.
The smell of coriander. So that's our beautiful dish that Jo's constructed and I've helped out. Throughout, we've been talking about our gut health. So here's our gut health sort of meal. But when we're thinking about gut health also, Jo, we're also thinking about the connection that gut health has to our brain as well. So after this meal, I'm going to be feeling pretty happy. I know it's going to fill the belly. It's going to feed all those good gut bacteria as well and leave me feeling nice and happy. So very much to do with mood and food. This is the sorts of meals that are really satisfying.
Comfort food.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Comfort food, but feeds the beautiful gut bacteria as well. So
I would probably add a spoonful of chutney on there too.
Chutney, or what else would you add to
beautiful.
the top?
There's so many things. I mean, I use chia seeds for everything.
Yum.
Yeah, so...
what was the other thing you said to me that you were going to add? Your mum used to add or something? What was it?
Chutney.
The
sultanas. Yes,
sultanas.
just gives a bit of sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
My mum used to add some roast nuts over the top, which I think is a lovely little touch.
Yeah,
Keep it interesting. Again, when you're spicing up a nice soup, I mean, it's always wonderful by itself, but all those little elements help too.
And economic-wise, I think this, I mean, you'd have enough there because this would freeze really well. And you'd have enough there in that pot for probably 8 meals.
At least, I would say, just looking at this one.
So it's probably only going to be $3 a meal.
Oh,
if
I would say maximum.
If that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And you've got all that nutrition in there.
So there you have it. There's our wonderful curry. Looking pretty nice, hey?
Curry in a hurry. Beautiful.